Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling one of the most misunderstood concepts in retirement planning, and that's how investment fees actually impact your safe withdrawal rate. And someone asked me recently, so if I pay an advisor 1%, doesn't the 4% rule now become the 3% rule? And if you just nodded your head, you're making the same mistake that most retirees and even some financial advisors make about investment fees. Now, investment fees can be a contentious topic for some people, and I'm not saying that fees don't matter because they absolutely do matter for retirement sustainability and investment returns, but they don't work the way most people think. What if I told you that a 1% fee doesn't equal a 1% reduction in what you can safely withdraw in retirement? Sounds crazy, right? But before we dive into the reasons why 1% doesn't equal 1%, if we haven't met yet, my name is Will Hinder, financial planner and IRS enrolled agent. And my firm helps people just like you lower taxes, invest smarter, and make work optional. And if you want help with those things, grab some time with me at the link in the description. Let's get into it. Okay, pop quiz. You've got $1 million portfolio. You're following the famous 4% withdrawal rule, taking out $40,000 a year. Now, your financial advisor charges 1% annually. That's $10,000 in fees. And simple math says you're down to $30,000 to live on. So your effective withdrawal rate just dropped from 4% to 3%, right? Wrong. The logic seems airtight. It feels like basic arithmetic, but it's based on a fundamental misunderstanding of how retirement portfolios work over time. Let's take a look at what the research says. Back in 2001, a researcher named Gordon Pye was one of the first to seriously examine how investment expenses affect safe withdrawal rates in retirement. And his approach was brilliant in its simplicity. He asked, what happens if we reduce expected returns to account for fees? For example, if your balanced portfolio historically returned 8% per year, what if we recalculated everything assuming you only got 7%? Essentially simulating a 1% fee. And what he found was surprising. Pye discovered that a 1% investment fee translates into roughly a 0.5% reduction in your safe withdrawal rate. So, using the 4% rule and based on index returns and adding in a 1% investment fee would drop your safe withdrawal rate to about 3.5%. This was later confirmed by Michael Kitces in another study in 2010, who found that for balanced portfolios, every 100 basis points, which is 1%, of investment expenses translated to approximately a 45% reduction in safe withdrawal capacity. Let's do the math on an example. If you're paying a 1.25% advisor fee, that would reduce your safe withdrawal rate by 1.25 times 45%, which equals 0.5625%. And so your 4% safe withdrawal rate would drop to about 3.4%, not 2.75%. So with that $1 million portfolio from before and adding a 1.25% fee, you can safely withdraw $34,000 per year, not $27,500. And that's an additional $6,500 of spending every single year. And again, this is just an example to illustrate the math and not start an argument over fees versus account sizes in the comments. When these studies came out, financial planners were confused. How is this possible? If a client pays a $10,000 fee, how does their available spending not drop by $10,000? And where does that extra money come from? It seems to violate basic math, doesn't it? The secret is that we're not looking at just 1 year. We're looking at 30 years of retirement. And over those 30 years, something remarkable happens to the relationship between fees and withdrawals. The impact of investment fees isn't just a one-to-one cut to the safe withdrawal rate. For example, a 4% withdrawal rate minus a 1% fee doesn't automatically mean a 3% safe withdrawal rate. And there's two main reasons for this. First, the 4% withdrawal rate assumes the portfolio earns more than 4%, since withdrawals are adjusted for inflation and eventually spend down principal. So changes in returns don't translate directly into equal changes in the safe withdrawal rate. And second, and maybe more importantly, percentage-based fees naturally shrink over time as the portfolio is spent down. For instance, in year one, a $1 million portfolio with a 4% withdrawal rate gives $40,000 in withdrawals and a $10,000 fee. By year 30, if the portfolio is nearly depleted and only $100,000 remains, the inflation-adjusted withdrawal might be about $100,000, and the 1% fee would now only be $1,000. So while fees were 25% of withdrawals in year one, they'd only be about 1% by year 30. And this built-in adjustment means that fees have a smaller long-term effect on safe withdrawal rates. They're higher when markets do well and lower when portfolios are being drawn down. The chart we're about to look at is from the Kitces study and is one of the most brutal retirement scenarios in history. Someone who retired in 1966. And this person faced the worst stock market performance for retirees, double-digit inflation through the 1970s, and everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So let's track their 30-year retirement journey with three numbers. First, the portfolio value. It starts at $1 million and struggles to grow because of terrible returns and ongoing withdrawals, and eventually depletes rapidly in the final years. Second, the annual withdrawal. It starts at $40,000 and increases every year with inflation. By year 30, just to maintain the same purchasing power, this person needs to withdraw $188,000. And finally, the 1% advisory fee. Let me show you what happens over time. In year one, the portfolio is worth $1 million. The fee is $10,000 or 1%, and the withdrawal is $40,000. And the fee as a percentage of the withdrawal is 25%. But by year 20, the portfolio is still struggling and it's still around $1 million, and the fee is still around $10,000. But the withdrawal has been inflation adjusted to $140,000. And that fee as a percentage of the withdrawal is about 7%. And in the final year, the portfolio is worth about $188,000 and is almost gone. And the fee is $1,880, which is 1% of what's left. The withdrawal is $188,000, everything remaining, and the fee as a percentage of that withdrawal is only 1%. Do you see what happened there? In year one, the fee ate up 25% of the spending, but by year 30, it's only 1% of spending. The fee amount dropped from $10,000 to $1,880, while the withdrawal requirement ballooned from $40,000 to $188,000. And it's also important to note that if your portfolio actually grows, meaning that you didn't retire into a 1966 style nightmare, yes, your fees will be higher in dollar terms, but that's okay, because higher fees mean you have more money and the portfolio is not in danger. And generally, the safe withdrawal rate in good markets is going to be higher than 4% anyway, but that's a topic for another day. Now, let me be clear. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not saying that fees don't matter. They absolutely do. And this fee adjustment is just one of many factors you should consider when personalizing your withdrawal rate, along with your actual retirement timeline. Is it longer or shorter than 30 years? Your tax situation, your risk tolerance, your spending flexibility, current market valuations, and portfolio diversification. But here's the core principle that applies specifically to percentage-based fees. The impact at the beginning is not the same as the impact over a lifetime, because percentage-based fees recalculate continuously on your current balance, so they become self-mitigating. They decline in spend down scenarios when you need relief and only rise in favorable environments when you can afford them. So let's go back to the original question. Shouldn't 1% advisory fees mean the 4% rule is really the 3% rule? And no, it should be approximately the 3.6% rule. And does that mean that advisory fees are worth it? Well, that's a different question entirely. One about value, behavioral coaching, tax planning, and comprehensive advice. There's nothing inherently wrong with paying advisory fees if you're getting value and some multiple of the fee being charged. But at least now you can evaluate that question with the correct math. Don't let oversimplified math force you into an unnecessarily conservative retirement strategy that makes you work years longer than you need to or spend thousands less per year than you can safely afford. And if this video helped clear up some confusion around your safe withdrawal rate, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button for more financial planning strategies that actually help you invest smarter, lower taxes, and make work optional. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.